In 1998, Peter Weir released a film about a man who had everything: a loving wife, a beautiful home, a friendly neighborhood, a stable job, a perfectly constructed life. The only problem, none of it was real. Truman Burbank had been born into the world's largest television set. Every person in his life was an actor. Every sunrise was artificial. Every coincidence was scripted, and he had never once suspected it. The Truman Show is not science fiction. It is the most uncomfortably accurate mirror mainstream cinema has ever held up to modern human life. And the question it asks, are you living your own life? Or are you playing a role in someone else's production? This is where curiosity meets truth. To understand the Truman Show philosophically, we need to go back to a cave. Plato's cave. 2,000 years ago, Plato described prisoners chained in a cave since birth. Behind them, a fire. In front of them, a wall. All they could ever see were shadows. And because shadows were all they knew, they believed shadows were reality. The Truman Show retells this analogy within a modern setting, where our prisoner is the lead role in a reality TV show. His reality is the constructed world around him, and the director is the god casting this shadow of false reality over Truman. Seahaven Island is the cave. The cameras are the fire. The actors are the shadows. And Christof, the creator, is the god who has spent 30 years making sure Truman never turns around. But here is the crucial philosophical difference between Plato's prisoner and Truman. Unlike Plato's freed prisoner who is guided out of the cave, Truman has to choose his own freedom. No philosopher comes to free him. No outside force removes his chains. He notices the cracks in the world himself. He questions what everyone else accepts. He chooses, alone, to walk toward the door. And that distinction is the most important thing the film has to say. But here's where it gets truly interesting. Now here is the part that makes the Truman Show genuinely uncomfortable. Because Truman's situation is extreme, a literal constructed reality. But philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued that most people construct their own Seahaven without anyone's help. He called it bad faith. Sartre's notion of bad faith describes individuals who deceive themselves to avoid confronting uncomfortable truths. Bad faith is the quiet agreement you make with yourself to never question the role you're playing, the career you chose because it was expected, the relationship you stayed in because leaving felt too uncertain, the version of yourself you perform daily for people whose approval you never consciously decided to need. The difference between Truman and most people: Truman was put in his cage by Christof. Most people walk into theirs voluntarily, and then redecorate it until it feels like home. And the most uncomfortable truth the Truman Show reveals: the audiences watching Truman's life love him. They feel connected to him. They celebrate his milestones. But not once does anyone question whether what's being done to him is wrong. Sound like any platforms you know? The Truman Show was released in 1998, 11 years before the first iPhone, 13 years before Instagram, before reality television became the dominant entertainment format, before algorithms began constructing personalized realities for 3 billion people. Peter Weir didn't predict the future. He diagnosed the present, 20 years early. Because here is what the film understood that most people still haven't processed. Surveillance doesn't require a camera crew. Every app that tracks your location, every algorithm that curates your feed, every platform that shows you exactly what keeps you engaged and hides what might disturb you, is Christof. Deciding what you see, deciding what feels normal, deciding what version of the world you're allowed to inhabit. The real world has its own architects, algorithms, surveillance networks, media narratives, political systems. Truman escaped his constructed reality by sailing to the edge of the set and finding the door. Where is your door? If this is already shifting something, you know what to do. Subscribe button is right there. At the end of the film, Truman reaches the edge of his world. His boat has sailed into the painted sky. The illusion is complete. Christof speaks to him directly, for the first time as himself, not through actors or scripts. He tells Truman the world outside is no better, that Seahaven is safe, that the real world is chaotic and uncertain, and he's not entirely wrong. Truman, torn between familiarity and the allure of truth, grapples with a decision reminiscent of the prisoner's internal conflicts in Plato's allegory. This is the moment every philosopher has been building toward for 2,000 years. The cave is comfortable, the shadows are familiar, the uncertainty outside is real. And yet, Truman ultimately decides to leave. His decision reflects a universal aspect of human nature, the relentless pursuit of truth. He doesn't leave because he's certain the outside world is better. He leaves because living a constructed life, even a comfortable one, is not living at all. Kierkegaard would have recognized that leap. Descartes would have questioned whether the world outside the door is real. But Truman doesn't wait for certainty. He bows, and he walks through the door. The Truman Show endures not because it predicted social media, though it did. Not because it foresaw the surveillance economy, though it did. But because it asked a question that every generation must answer for itself. How much of your life did you actually choose? Your beliefs, chosen or inherited? Your ambitions, yours or your parents'? Your relationships, freely entered or socially scripted? Your sense of what's normal, arrived at through questioning or simply absorbed? Truman's courage wasn't physical. It was the courage to notice. To look at a world that everyone else accepted and ask, wait, is this real? Is this mine? Is this the life I would choose if I were truly free to choose? And then, without certainty, without guarantee, without knowing what was on the other side, to walk through the door anyway. That is not just Truman's story. That is the invitation philosophy has been extending to every human being for 2,000 years. Here's your question for the comments. What's one belief, role, or version of yourself that you inherited rather than chose? You don't need to go into detail. Just naming it is the first step toward the door. Drop your answer below. New philosophy and pop culture explainer every Wednesday on Chasing Sunsets. Subscribe and hit the bell. Curious minds don't miss this one. This is where curiosity meets truth. See you next Wednesday.